watching us live from the Gambia radio and television services, and this is the news coming to you straight from Banjul, also coming up. Strengthening political plurality, thousands of supporters converge at the Independence Stadium as President Adama Barrow launches his National People's Party. Reviewing the situation of judiciary and the judicial system, His Excellency President Adama Barrow presides over the opening of the legal year 2021 in Banjul. And communities in Central River region benefits from beekeeping materials as part of efforts to build community resilience against climate change. And in the internationals, the World Bank commits $12 billion for vaccinations across Africa, according to a statement by the South African president. Well, these and other stories coming ahead in the news. I am your presenter, Fatou Janimbai, and many thanks for joining us. And welcome to the news. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, on Saturday presided over the official launch of the National People's Party at a grand ceremony held at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. The historic event attracted thousands of party supporters who filled the Independence Stadium in what could be described as the biggest gathering of people in the history of the new party. As we hear in this report by Momodu Jallo, the launch of the NPP is set to redraw the political landscape barely 10 months before the presidential elections.
The National People's Party was arguably the most anticipated event since its formation in 2019. Tens of thousands of people filled the Independence Stadium in Bakau in what could be described as the largest gathering of party supporters and militants. Several prominent political figures also attended the event. The social The historic launching of the National People's Party was arguably the most anticipated event since its formation in 2019. Tens of thousands of people filled the Independence Stadium in Bakau in what could be described as the largest gathering of party supporters and militants. Several prominent political figures also attended the event to social NPP and cement their alliance, which has stood the test of time. The momentum had been building since morning and climaxed with the president's arrival, escorted by thousands of people on foot and horseback through the Caraba Avenue Stadium. After the euphoria had subsided, party officials took turns to address the crowds, expressing delight in seeing such an unprecedented turnout. Mamanyik Nyai, the administrative secretary of the party, described the event as a turning point in the Gambia's political development, adding that the NPP will positively contribute to national development and democracy. He reassured that the party has opened its doors to all Gambians, irrespective of their ethnic or religious backgrounds, as it is guided by the principles of integrity, respect, and freedom. The regional chairman of the party in the Kanivi municipality, Unda Nyang, welcomed delegates to the historic launching, adding that it marks a new era of political consciousness, as it has given citizens a choice to showcase their political preference. The National Women's Mobilizer, Maimuna Balde, described women as the backbone of the party, and therefore urged them to continue to empower President Barrow to ensure victory in the presidential election slated for December this year. A representative of the diaspora, Lamin Demba, disclosed that the NPP has made significant inroads in attracting support within the diaspora community, but reassured that they will continue to reach out to as many countries as possible by opening new branches to attract Gambians. The national president of the party, Alhaji Dembo Bojang, who has positioned himself as a staunch supporter of President Barrow, said the Gambian leader has the right credentials, integrity, and charisma to lead the country, describing him as a true patriot and committed servant of the people. He therefore appealed to all Gambians to join the NPP, as it remains the only champion of democracy, good governance, and development. In his launching statement, President Barrow welcomed the formation of the NPP party as a true reflection of the will and aspirations of the Gambian people who entrusted him with their destiny. The president therefore reassured that he is up to the task and will deliver as expected.
I have accepted to form this party, together with all of you, to provide a platform for us to collectively fight the social divisions, the political cracks, and institutional failures that have persistently undermined the peace, stability, progress, and development of our dear motherland. We assert that this is a party devoted to creating, expanding, and sustaining space for popular participation in development as politically matured, democratic, patriotic, and economically independent citizens.
President Barrow acknowledged the challenges that lie ahead, but argued that with the support and right attitude, the future looks bright as his administration has already laid robust foundations for the socio-economic and political advancement of the country. He vowed to continue on this development trajectory, saying the NPP is the answer to the challenges we face as a country.
Our party's vision is to build a nation we can proudly call home. This is derived from the desire for positive, transformative change that will result in an all-inclusive, all-progressive, and an accomplished society of happy, peaceful, dignified, and united people who are proud to call Gambia home. We believe in democracy for good governance, as it is defined by the law and approved by the people. We do not believe in any form of governance that contravenes the Gambia's shared ideals and values. Accordingly, we denounce and reject all forms of dictatorship and degrading treatment of human beings or communities. We believe that all are equal before the law, and all human beings have the same fundamental rights to life and good living.
The Gambian leader outlined a comprehensive plan of action as contained in the party manifesto to address all areas of development, but laid emphasis on youth and women empowerment as priority areas that will receive significant attention.
We believe that the youth should be meaningfully involved in discussions, and decision-making on youth matters intensify as part of the strategies to address youth unemployment, crime, illegal migration, drug abuse, and all devices associated with this invaluable resource of the nation. The women of Gambia are part of the political and economic vanguard of the nation. They constitute a bigger percent of the Gambian population than their male compatriots and contribute very significantly towards nation building.
The president therefore reached out to all Gambians to embrace the MPP party, describing it as a party of the masses. With barely a year since it was formed, the MPP has already broken new grounds by contesting and winning 2 by-elections in Nyamina and Jokadu. With the official launching of the NPP, the party leadership and its supporters are hopeful that this will give the party the leverage to galvanize Gambians to replicate the feat that President Barrow achieved 5 years ago when he swept the polls in a historic landslide. Mohamed Diallo, GRTS News.
And to some legal matters now, where His Excellency President Adama Barrow today presided over the opening of the legal year 2021 at the Law Courts Complex in Banjul. The ceremony, witnessed by the Vice President Dr. Aissatou Toure, Cabinet Ministers and the Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow, is meant for stock-taking of the machinery of justice, reflection on its challenges and dialogue on the way forward for the legal profession and the administration of justice in the country. President Barrow commended the Justice Ministry for providing an independent, effective and efficient justice system. Khadija Tujuwara was at the ceremony and prepared this report, voiced by Babkar Senghor.
This is one of the most important days of the legal calendar, and one that had the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, and his cabinet out to grace the opening ceremony of the legal year 2021. Addressing the gathering, President Barrow highlighted the numerous strides undertaken by his government in promoting reform, upholding the rule of law, and ensuring judicial independence. Key elements, he said, are important in any democratic society.
While we reflect on 2020 as a trying and extraordinary year globally, let me reassure you that my government remains firm and passionate about promoting and upholding good governance, the rule of law, and respect for human rights are spelled out in the National Development Plan 2018-2021. Because the plan ends this year, it is necessary that we begin the evaluation process of our performance so far, with a view to designing a successor plan. In the interim, we can pride ourselves on the significant achievements recorded in the key areas of good governance, human rights, rule of law, and women empowerment.
The president also took time to announce other major landmark plans of his government in sustaining the gains made in the improvement of the Gambia's justice delivery system, particularly moves being taken by his government to promote the Gambianization of the judiciary.
For the first time in Gambian history, the judiciary is implementing a strategic plan for the period 2021-2025 in order to deliver justice without fear or favor, honestly, consistently, and devotedly in the public interest. This reassurance complements my New Year's message, in which I call on all personnel of institutions and disciplines across all sectors to adopt quality performance and quality results as their mantra. An indigenized and gender-inclusive judiciary continue to be a main focus of this government.
This is an important day for the judiciary, and one that was highlighted in the speech delivered by the Chief Justice, Hassan B. Jallow, who said the objective of the annual occasion is for stock-taking of the machinery of justice.
The object of this occasion, now a regular item on the state annual calendar since 1982, continues to be the same. That is an occasion for stock-taking of the machinery of justice, reflection on the challenges and dialogue on the way forward to meeting those challenges and to promoting the rule of law in our community through the delivery of quality justice. A number of other activities are thus planned for the rest of this week, which will provide such an opportunity, including a call to the bar tomorrow, the 1st of February, of some 51 Gambians who have successfully completed the vocational stage of their training at the Gambia Law School.
The Gambia has made significant strides in recent times in ensuring that the judiciary remains independent, and those efforts, according to government officials, will continue as the Gambia continues its democratization process. For GRTS News, this is Babakar Senghor.
And now, Mbayen, Wolof, Kayai Nyanijar, and Kir Ali Jale are the latest communities to receive modern beekeeping materials from officials of the large-scale ecosystem-based adaptation project. Suma Jadama is with the environmental delegation, and he sent this report from Bakadaji in Nyanijar district where the handing over took place.
EBA project extended its eco-friendly beekeeping support to hard-to-reach communities battling climate change. On behalf of beneficiary communities, Alajiba of Kaya Nyanija and Jenaban Dao of Mbayen Wolof commended the benefactors for the timely intervention.
This beekeeping is very important to our society because it helps us more, especially the village development committee. Yeah, we are very appreciative of this EBA project. Them take this as a serious thing because it's an income generation. Let them keep it up and utilize the job as it is supposed to be.
léegi ñun wàllu kees yi yëmb yi soxla fu sori ak fi nga xam ne nii bëgguñ fa safara te dinañ ko mën a sàmm ba nga xam ne dara du ko mën a yàq.
These handing over activities has witnessed simulation on beekeeping by officials of Beakers Gambia Association. Suma W. Jadama reporting for GRTS.
And now, a young man believed to be in his 20s is currently in police custody, helping the police in their investigations. The suspect, who was apprehended by the municipal police, is alleged to have been behind the setting of the Bakoteh Dam site on fire. Janke Ture has details of that in this report.
Another fire outbreak at the Bakoteh Dam site met KMC police on alert to control the blaze. Officials say a young man in his 20s and a resident of Dipakunda set the affected area on fire in the late hours of Saturday. The suspect was apprehended by the municipal police just when things were about to escalate, and is currently at the police station for investigation.
Yesterday around 5:30 to 6 o'clock in the evening, and the police were intensifying patrol within the the dump site area, and they sighted a suspect lighting, took a match and put a fire on the dump site at a certain portions, and he was apprehended by the municipal police, and with the assistance of the members of the community, apprehended and detained for a while. And during the course of he was briefly interrogated, and he made mention that actually he is responsible, and he was sent by a group of people to shed light on this.
Really, it was really serious, especially when there was an explosion in zone 3, and then the fire went to the other side, where you have the material of the scavengers, and then within those materials there are some explosive materials, and these are affected us.
The fire lasted for 2 hours before it was put under control by the municipal police and the fire and rescue services. As the KMC officials are working to reduce air pollution in the area, this latest fire outbreak continues to affect residents.
If this fire has escalated, it will disturb the neighborhood. And thank God that immediately when this fire was about to spark to the other areas, the community joined the police and to put up the fire, and a tank was requested also to bring water, and when the water was brought here, actually it was put off.
Bakote dump site is situated in between 3 densely populated communities of Bakote, Dipakunda and Manjaikunda, and this is not the first time of such an undesirable circumstances. Last year in August, the council embarks on erecting a perimeter fence for security purposes to control movements in and out of the dump site. This, as officials believed, once completed, will prevent such occurrence. They use the opportunity to warn youth to desist from this unlawful act.
As you can see, this place is already full to capacity. We are just trying to manage. I have always been emphasizing that the Bakote dump site is a national duty for all stakeholders, because if you looked at it across the board, it's affecting education, it's affecting health, and even agriculture in some aspect. So the government should therefore try to support us, to be able to relocate this place to other areas. When fence is completed, there will be maximum security. There will be only 2 doors, and then you can see the fence is 2 tall.
A worrying situation as the trend continues by youngsters. The suspect is currently under police custody for investigation, but mitigating fire outbreaks that cause serious pollution of the neighborhood, including the SOS Children's Village, schools and hospitals, should be a collective effort from all and sundry. For the news, I am Jenke Ture.
And now, still ahead for you, the Women's Bureau under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare organized a 2-day capacity building for the National Women Councillors at the Regional Education Office in Janjambure in the Central River region. Bernadette Sani witnessed the ceremony, and she filed in this report.
UNICEF-supported training is expected to enhance the step-down training of women and communities they represent. The communication officer at the Women's Bureau, Nene Toure, reminded the lady councillors of their role in society. She urged the women to advocate for positive change in society. The chairperson, National Women Council, Madam Aissatou Dié Sawane, said women councillors are selected by an act of parliament and should live up to expectations. Gender-based violence issues are on the increase and needs to be addressed. This, she added, was the reason the Women's Bureau organized this training for the women. At the end of the training, the lady councillors will be given a financial package to facilitate their trainings at community level. Councillor Michelle Mendy of Nyomi in North Bank region explained how the training is going to help the advocacy work at community level.
It's all about women. This is about how we are advocating women empowering, and women in gender-based violence, we want to put a stop onto it. That's why we have this training, so that those who are not aware of it, they will know what is the impact in this FGM, early marriage, and rape. So those are the things that we train, and we want to go back to our people, sensitize them in this, so that they can know it. Because some of them, they've been hearing about it, but they don't know the impact, they don't know what is behind it. So if you don't tell them what is there, you just tell them it's not good. You have to tell them and give them the reasons why they are not good. That's why we are so happy to be here with our people, so that when we go back, we'll see how best we can train them.
This training will be followed up by a training of other women's groups. For the news, I am Bernadette Sani.
Well, still on the Central River region, where the 4th edition of Janjanbureh Cultural Festival has been successfully held in the island city of Janjanbureh. The 3-day event witnessed some spectacular display of culture and tradition, showcasing famous masquerades in the sub-region. The event was graced by senior officials of the National Center for Arts and Culture and a cross-section of the society. Modula Minsane tells us more.
Janjanbureh comes together for another exciting cultural festival celebrating ancient norms and the Gambia's unique masquerade tradition. The delightful island is a cultural melting pot and custodian of the Gambia's masquerade tradition. A Kankuran Center is part of many attractions that make Janjanbureh one of the most important cultural settlements in the Gambia. This year's event conveyed colorful cultural groups from different communities parading in their best regalia to perform and formally open the Janjanbureh Kankuran Festival 2021. The Janjanbureh Kankuran Festival is a crucial celebration that underscores the role of the Kankuran masquerade as an authority for community unity. The weekend carnival also revives the Gambia's old norms, revitalizing important ceremonies of male initiation and their cultural journey through rites of passage. Attendants and dignitaries were treated to exciting performance, exhibiting the Gambia's unique way and culture. The official opening was a memorable occasion for the organizers to remind people about the purpose and importance of this major cultural event.
The purpose basically for the festival is to showcase the cultural expression of the Kankuran and other Maxim tradition of West Africa, so that the island, that is Janjanbureh, will gain visibility and attract more and more visitors who would like to experience an intangible, authentic cultural heritage.
That moment will set the stage for the showcasing of different traditions, including the unique Janjanbureh Kankurang.
Culture is the equity of any society. For any society to grow in real fact, have to go with its culture. Therefore, Janjanbureh youths coming up with their cultural festival, depicting the Kankurang as one of the main sources in Janjanbureh, I think is the right thing in the right direction. We thank you so much for that. And the development of any state can never go without the youths. And here in Janjanbureh is what we are seeing.
This is one big cultural event authorities are hoping to sustain in a bid to preserve the country's ancient cultures.
People who are also incapable of maintaining their heritage is also a people that are bound for doom. Janjanbureh, you have a big onus, you have a big task to make sure that this heritage lives on. You pass it down from generation to generation so that it doesn't get lost. This is something I want to bestow to you.
The Gambia ratified the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage Convention, and 2 years later the Kankurang was inscribed as a masterpiece of intangible cultural heritage. And this festival will continue. The ministry, the NCAC and the other partners will continue to support the community, so that this festival will become like a permanent feature in the calendar of cultural events of the Gambia.
The exciting cultural carnival exhibited other masquerades rarely seen, such as the Banjul hunting and the flamboyant-looking Zimba, which joined the highlight of Kankuran masquerades to keep up the spectacular night-long performance. Modu Lamin Sane reporting for GRTS News from the Central River region.
And now from Modula Minsane there, our Sierra correspondent will take our first break. When we return, we'll take a look at news beyond our shores. Do stay with us. Welcome back to GRTS News. We begin in South Africa, where the World Bank has committed $12 billion for vaccinations across Africa. According to a statement by the South African president, the World Bank funding would be in the form of grants or loans on highly concessional terms. CGTN's Yolisa Nyamela has more in this report.
$1 billion has been earmarked for developing countries to finance the purchase and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. It's also for the testing and treatment of the citizens of different countries on the African continent. According to the World Bank, the financing aims to support the vaccination of up to 1 billion people. The cost of vaccinating 60% of Africa's 1.3 billion people would cost between 10 billion and 15 billion US dollars. That's according to the Africa Centers for Disease Control, or Africa CDC. So far, the continent has not been able to keep up with the rollout of the vaccines, unlike the developed nations. The richer nations managed to secure the jabs earlier on. The Africa CDC says the African continent has so far secured 36% of its vaccine needs. 25% of the doses are to come from the COVAX initiative. Another 11% are expected from a separate African Union program. In a statement by the South African presidency, AU Chair Cyril Ramaphosa expressed disappointment that developing economies on the continent were facing challenges in accessing vaccines. The disappointment, he said, has been enhanced by the knowledge that a number of clinical trials for the same vaccines were carried out here on the continent. Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 early last year, the World Bank has committed some $25 billion US dollars for African countries to support their health and economic recovery. Yolisa Njamela for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of the news here on GRTS. But before we go, a quick reminder of our top stories once again. Now, thousands of supporters converged at the Independence Stadium on Saturday to witness the grand launch of the National People's Party by the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow. The legal fraternity on Sunday converged at the Law Courts Complex in Banjul to open the legal year 2021, which was presided over by His Excellency President Adama Barrow. The ant communities in Central River region have benefited from beekeeping materials as part of ongoing efforts by the large-scale ecosystem-based adaptation project to build community resilience against climate change. And away from home, the World Bank commits $12 billion US dollars for vaccinations across Africa, according to a statement by the South African president. Well, that's it from me, Fatu Janimbai. Many thanks for joining us from the entire news team. Thank you for watching GRTS and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.